Good evening, Bulldog fans, and welcome into this week's Coaches Show. I'm your host, as always, TJ Vickers, and joining alongside me is head coach Kyler Hall. Coach Hall, thank you for joining me, and happy Labor Day to all
Yes,
those.
sir. Happy Labor Day.
Coach, this was a hard-fought game that came down to the wire. Unfortunately, a 37-30 defeat to the hands of the Lafayette Hornets. What was your overall takeaway from the game Friday night?
It was a great game. We knew going into that environment they were going to be ready to play. The crowds on both sides were thing helped just create great small town football. And Coach Edwards, just looking at his tenure since he's been there, his teams are always physical. They're well coached. They play hard. Just got a lot of grit to them and talent. I mean, the quarterback, man, he's extraordinary. He's a good player. But as I told our kids after the game, we battled and we made some responses. They made a few more. Second quarter, going back and watching that, man, that was a bad quarter defensively where we gave up, two bad scores. And then, we got the interception right there then in half, but just didn't make enough plays in the clutch moments. We did, again, the theme, we're doing some good things, but just not enough things consistently. So we didn't play our best. And I told those guys, if we don't bring our best, it's going to be tough to beat these guys because they will be ready to play. And so, unfortunately, we didn't bring our best, didn't coach our best. We didn't have our guys mentally or physically ready to play to win the game. So I've got to fix that. We got to figure this out. But hats off to Coach Edwards and his program. It's a great game. I mean, great win. That team's not going to lose many games. They're going to be very tough in 1A. And, we got a lot of work to do still.
Well, it was pretty similar to last year's game, in my opinion, Coach, where it was, a close back and forth battle. Now, of course, last year in the fourth quarter, we kind of were able to pull away a little bit and come away with the win. This year, Lafayette comes out on top, but pretty similar to how last year's game went.
Yeah, it was. One of the bigger frustrating parts was their late third, fourth quarter. You could see them start to tire a little bit. They started having the guys cramp. So there was a window of opportunity that we had a chance to take control of the game, and we never did. And that was a disappointing thing, where at that moment, we've got to seize control of the game, get big stops defensively, go and punch another one in, special teams. We had a chance to steal a kick, didn't get it. So there was opportunities to really take control of the game because, again, you could see fatigue kind of setting in. But to their credit, they fought through it. They made more plays down the stretch. But it was very similar to last year's.
Compared to the Columbia game last week, how did you see difference and similarities maybe from the Columbia game to this past week versus Lafayette?
Similarities gave up a lot of big plays in the passing game again, which has been very frustrating to say the least. We continue, and we're not running a ton of coverage. We're trying to keep it simple, but I've obviously got to do a better job of getting more simple where they understand completely what's going on. So that's been a constant theme from the kickoff classic is big plays, whether run a game, which I think we've done an okay job since Bishop Kenny. I think we've gotten better against the run. But, man, passing downs, third downs, fourth downs, we've just been very poor in those areas. An improvement, our run game improved. Thought Lou Jack played really well. And he said he was going to have I think his best game. So he was confident going in. He ran the ball hard. I think we still missed out on some opportunities in the run game to have even more big plays. But Lou Jack ran the ball well, and we did some. Again, it's not like we're doing everything terrible, which is the frustrating part. You see the glimpses that, man, if we can just do this consistent, we're going to get this turned around. But right now, consistency is just not there.
30 points on the board for us on the offensive side of the ball. You mentioned Lou Jack and the big night he had, so got some points on the board. Unfortunately, just defense gave up a little bit more to the Hornets.
Yeah, we did, and we forced some turnovers. Bono had two big interceptions. Thought Josh Johnson, man, he continues to play better. Coy Fryer, had a big cause fumble there on the goal line. So, man, if we get 3 turnovers, which is our goal each game, typically that's gonna bode well for us. But then we follow up the turnover with a turnover of ourselves there that led to a touchdown, and then we give up a third down touchdown. We give up a fourth down touchdown. just again in those key plays, we're not playing very well.
With the offensive side of the ball, was there any specific adjustments that you made from the Columbia game to the Lafayette game to kind of see the ground game get going?
Didn't really change much schematically. It was just staying on blocks. Staying on the double team if you're supposed to have one. Lou Jack, putting his foot in the ground and getting vertical instead of tiptoeing and dancing around in the backfield. So you could see the improvement there. I thought Hunter Watson played a really good game, especially from a blocking standpoint. I think he had 5 or 6 pancake blocks. So he played really physical. So when you get that effort up front, you're going to be able to hit some big run plays as you did. And Lou Jack, I thought, again, ran the ball with confidence. But then in the passing game, we had the one big one early to Coy. But, man, we had drops. We had some mishaps. We had some turnovers. We just didn't play a very clean game in the passing game.
Execution-wise, what do you need to see to get that passing game going? If you have a chance to look at the film now, maybe kind of go over it a little bit more, what do you see that you need to improve on?
I think it starts early in the game with Sykes. We've yet to really find a rhythm with him. So getting some, I say easy. There's nothing easy right now, but getting some 5-yard, some check down routes, just something that gets him some confidence. Get our receivers catching the ball early, because that's the thing. When you throw 1 or 2 bad passes early, now you're thinking about it. Or if you drop a pass, you drop 2 passes, now you're thinking about it. Now you're in your head. So we've got to get some more confidence and continuity early in the game. And then, we start out to play with the big game, but we had a lot of drops and some of the what should be gimme catches and some easy yards. So I think that's key there. We still had some missed assignments in our protection. So it's a combination of a little bit of everything. We can't point to one thing as it was. It's this group it's everybody right now. So again, it's on us. It's on me to get this fixed as the coaching staff. We have some guys a little banged up, but got to go with who's on the field.
You already talked about Lou Jack's big night. We talked about Coy Fryer catching the big touchdown pass early on the night he had. Now that you've had a chance to kind of look at the film, and just as us as neutral observers, we kind of see, okay, we know Lou Jack had a big game. We know Coy had a big game on the outside. Now that you've had a chance to kind of look at the film, who's maybe someone that stood out to you that we probably missed on the broadcast?
I mentioned Josh Johnson. The first game we played Bishop Kenny, man, he was hesitant. Just wasn't playing very fast, very physical. But the thing that I've noticed back in the spring with Josh, he's very coachable and he wants to get it right. So he got coached hard, and we fixed some things after that Bishop Kenny, and I've seen him play fast and physical to the ball. He had the interception against Columbia. He had a forced interception against Mayo last week that Bono ended up getting. So he's around the ball consistently. T-Fed was out for most of the game. So we were relying on Josh kind of to be the elder sophomore. We had Rojas in there. We had Limbley played a little bit. We had Hagedorn in there. So we were surrounded, by a bunch of sophomores that, we talked about in our Sunday meeting. Right now, we're depending on pretty much 6 quarter guys that are playing some JV still to get some reps. Like now these guys are going to end up being starters because of some injuries, but I thought Josh played really well, and he's going to continue to get better. Vano, we talked about as a freshman, man, he's made some impressive plays, still making some freshman mistakes and trying, just hone in more on his assignments, but he is going to be a heck of a player. But thought those 2 guys played well. Hunter Watson, saw him get some defensive reps, and that's going to be big because not sure if Kyler will be with us this week. But again, we're seeing guys step up, man. We're lacking the consistency across the board for 4 quarters.
With the defense that you kind of just spoke on, Lafayette was able to score 37 points. What were they doing that was just kind of tough to make them slow down throughout the evening?
So we start from day one back in the spring about alignment. Like that was the number one thing we have talked about was getting lined up before the ball's even snapped. And so they were running, it's a tight end over, it's a unbalanced look, and we misaligned to that a ton. And this one, we knew that they were going to run that set, but we just had too many where, linebacker, defensive end doesn't line up correctly, or we don't fit it the way it's supposed to be fit up in the run game. And so out of that look, they're running Q power, Q power, Q power. And you saw what he can do just naturally when he pulls the ball down. But now when he's got a convoy out in front and he's got lead blockers, that makes it really tough. But when we're lined up correctly, we were able to slow that down. So defensively, it all starts with alignment for us. This week is going to be another big one against Madison with what they do. But that definitely got us in some trouble. And then just staying at home, playing your assignment. In the past game, we talk about don't chase anybody else's assignment. So if you're an outside player, don't chase inside. You got a guy sitting right there with it, and vice versa. And we chased and left the flats wide open. That got us for, I know, 2 touchdowns. Then I can remember maybe 3. So again, nothing. It's just basic fundamentals that we got to continue to improve and work on. So we do that, we're going to be a much better ball club. But until that point, you've seen the struggle.
Well, with the mobile quarterback like that and the offensive scheme that they were running, eye discipline has to be, a top priority, regardless of who you're facing. Really, of course, eye discipline is very important. But with a mobile quarterback like that, being able to, make sure we're staying over the top of them so we don't get hit with the big plays. But unfortunately, we know what he can do on the ground. So every now and then, whenever he actually stands in and drops back to pass, there was something open for him.
Yeah, there was. And we talked about with the defensive backs, you can't play your deep third and watch the quarterback. Like, you got to stay your deep third, have your eyes on the nearest threat in your responsibility. And, we just didn't do that consistently, whether we chased out of our zone or we got our eyes in the backfield when we're supposed to be deep third or man-to-man. So, again, like you said, it's just eye discipline. Because once you start looking at the quarterback scrambling, you're supposed to be able to top. Before you know it, you got 2 guys behind you. You leave a guy wide open, which we saw on 3 or 4 different occasions. So, again, he does present a lot of challenges with the way he could scramble, but, man, we're going to see those quarterbacks all year. We'll see one this week. We'll see one against at least one quarterback against Gobby. So we're going to see those type of threats. So we got to stay disciplined, doing our job, our responsibilities, and let the guy next to you do his job.
And a little bit of the tempo offense that they would hit us with every now and then definitely seemed to be effective against it. I'm sure you guys had a chance to look at it already, break it down on your Sunday game film. What did you see from their tempo offense?
One thing that we knew coming in, we were going to get some, and tempo is going to be another thing that we see throughout the year. Madison will tempo at times. Baker County will tempo. Wakulla will tempo. So we're going to see that. So it's a matter of, again, that's day one stuff, man. When the play's over, you get up, get your eyes to the sideline. We have an emergency call where if it's that quick, we know what to go to. But again, that's just, getting too complacent when the play is done, not staying all the way locked in. Because you saw when they did tempo, our guys weren't set, we were misaligned, and they were able to get some yardage on us.
You touched on it a little bit earlier, Coach. We take the lead into the fourth quarter, and we kind of do like an onside kick look that Lafayette ends up taking over for it, and then they get the ball in pretty good field position. Just kind of talk about that decision and what you were hoping to have executed.
Yeah, so that was right in that time where, we had some momentum. They were getting gassed. The middle was wide open, so we were going to blue middle. Well, we didn't execute the kick great, but going back and watching the film, even though it, came off his foot wrong, instead of dropping it right in that dead zone, it still went 10 yards, and we got a backspin. The difference was on that play, their guy dove on the ground to get the ball. We did not. So the effort there was not where it should have been. We didn't dive on the ball. I mean, that is a game-changing play. We get the ball there, go down and score. That could be it. Mm-hmm. But to their credit, they made a heads-up play. They dove on the ground, got the ball. So, again, that's just, man, that's 1-2 in effort, which I don't think we played with enough of last week.
You've had your first practice since the game. Today we're here talking to you on a Monday. You've had your practice today. What is something that you'll emphasize this week in practice?
Just doing your job. I mean, that's when you boil it down and watch our game so far, it's been nothing that we didn't see coming into the game on film. Nothing that they schematically that, they just did anything different. It really comes down to guys doing their job. And I know that may be coach talk or just very vanilla, but that's what it is. And to get it turned around, it's not a magic formula. It's doing your job and doing it very consistently. The cornerback is the only one that can play that deep third. Like, it can't be the linebacker. It's not going to be the defensive line. he's got to play that deep third. Linebacker's got to play the A-gap. So when we get guys doing their job across the forward, all 11 guys, the talent and pieces are there to be a good defense. But until we get to that point, we're going to struggle. And same thing offensively, guys doing our job, doing it consistently. Special teams. I mean, we've seen big plays given up in each phase of the game so far this year. So it sounds simple, but it really boils down to 11 individuals doing their job.
And some of those 11 individuals, especially on the defense side of the ball, you talked about it earlier, Coach. They're a very young group. You got a young roster that whether it's by just their play or just injuries, they're being expected. They're asked more than probably what you would prefer to out of this season. But so far, 2 games in, what are you seeing areas of improvement wise?
Again, defensively, from the Bishop Kenny game, we've been much better against the run. We saw the big plays that we gave up that week. Columbia, I thought we were much improved. I actually think we look overall. We gave up more running wise against Lafayette than we did Columbia, especially kind of late in the third and fourth quarter, where they just were able to extend drives to get some first downs. But I have seen improvement there. Special teams, it's just, again, consistency is just a word that keeps showing up with each phase of the game. We will have a good kickoff, and then we'll have a blunder on, executing the bloop. But then we made, the field goal. So again, we're doing some things that are very well. Punt protection is one area that we've got to improve on. We're not getting the protection up front. The timing is off, and so that and kickoff probably the 2 that have been looking the worst. Kickoff return, we're just giving up too many yards, field position. So if we're not consistently kicking touchbacks, which we're not right now, our coverage has got to be much better.
With 2 losses to begin the season, how do you keep your team motivated?
Well, as I told him, man, you've put in a lot of work to let the first 2 games make you, drop your head, quit, whatever the case may be. Now, granted, when things aren't going your way, that's an easy thought to have. I don't want to do this. I want to quit. I'm going to go somewhere else. Like, that's, especially nowadays, like, that's a very common theme, and I see it. I see it all over the place. I told our guys, like, we talk about toughness. Like, you will see now if you're tough. Like, you will see physically and mentally, especially mentally, if you're tough. And if you quit now, it's going to be easier the next time and then the next time. So we're getting tested right now. We're going to Boot Hill. So if you can't get motivated, again, to go to Boot Hill, because they don't care about us being 0-2. They don't care about our injuries. Like, nobody does. Like, nobody cares about the struggle that we're having. Like, they want to kick our tail. So we've got to get our mindset in a place that that is tough, that's responsible, that's gritty, that bounces back, which again has been a theme of what we haven't necessarily done well is respond to adversity and kick that door down and take the game over when we can. So the motivation it's got to come from within. I mean, yes, you can hear a great word and this motivational speech. Like, that's all great. That stuff doesn't last. Like, whatever's inside of you, like, you have to develop some of this toughness, and you do it through these hard experiences. Like, anybody can be 2-0 and be happy and show up with a good attitude. But when you're 0-2 and you're getting ready to go to Madison, which you already know what it's going to be with them, like, now will you show up? So all this toughness and all this work you put in the off season, we're going to see what we're really about.
Plenty more coming up here on the Coach's Show. He just talked about it. We'll have a preview for this upcoming Madison game.
No matter what's around the corner, we'll be there. That's why Farm Bureau Insurance has been a trusted name for over 70 years. You deserve more. You deserve a promise.
Local people, great rates, friendly service. That's the Farm Bureau Insurance promise. Farm Bureau Insurance, serving Florida for over 70 years. In Suwannee County, you'll find Farm Bureau in Branford and in Live Oak. In Branford on Drain Street, phone 935-1274. And in Live Oak on Dowling Avenue, call 362-1274. Farm Bureau Insurance.
What's up, guys? Welcome to Dan Carpet One. For 78 years, we've been your local family-owned and operated floor covering store, and we can't wait to serve you. Let's go check out some of the stuff we've got and say hey to the guys.
Hey guys, this is Michael Van here at Van Carpet One. Wanted to show you our huge display of carpet. Got about 1,000 rolls for you that we can order. We also keep about 100 in stock that are on clearance, so please come down and give us a visit. We appreciate it.
Come in and see the largest tile collection in North Florida. Van Carpet One has every tile you could possibly imagine. If you can't find it here, they don't make it. Guys, take a look at this. This is just some of our options in waterproof vinyl plank, where we have the largest selection anywhere around here, including over 70 pallets in stock, ready to go right now. Come in and see our fantastic selection of elegant hardwood too, followed up by fantastic service that you expect from a company like Van Carpet One.
Come on in and see us.
We can't wait to serve you. And that's a boom shakalaka.
Coach, heading into this week, we're going to Boot Hill to take on Madison County. They're the reigning state champions. We know what we're getting with the Cowboys. I'm sure this year isn't any different. So what is your mindset with your team heading into such a big test?
We've got to play much better physically. I mean, if anything, we have to show up physically and be ready to play. Because if you don't have that, like, you don't stand a chance against Madison, and that's just always been a staple of the Madison County Cowboys. Again, you mentioned defending state champs, and they're always in the mix to win the state championship. And they're not playing like 1A teams. They're of their schedule is filled with bigger teams. You know, they're 0-2, but they played DeLand, which is a very good bigger school. Lincoln, which is one of the best teams in the state right now, and they played them tough. So Madison is they're Madison. Boot Hill is very hard to play, place to play at. Running the ball is, again, their foundation, but they're effective throwing the ball. Defensively, they fly around, they get after it, they're physical at the point of contact. So each phase of their game, like, you better be ready to buckle up and get after it.
You know, you talked about their ground game and what they want to do is probably control, the clock. You know, if you got the ball, then it's hard for the other team to score, obviously. So we were able to put 30 points on the board. A lot of it was from Lou Jack and the running ability that he had. How important is it to carry over that momentum from the Lafayette game, especially on the ground? Yeah,
we got to keep building on that. You know, if you get a lot of 3 and outs, as we kind of saw against Columbia, if you do that same thing as Madison, that's going to be tough sledding, because they're so explosive in the run game. They have athletes that you get them in space, they're hard to bring down. So offensively, we've got to be able to sustain drives, flip the field position if we don't score, get points. Special teams, again, we talked about, we haven't looked very sharp at times in that area. So ground game is going to be big. I mean, and we've got playmakers at receiver, with Coy and Cherry, Ty Moses, Hunter Watson. So those guys are very capable of winning one-on-one routes and sitting down in the zone and understanding what's going on. So the pieces are all there, as we've talked about offensively. But now, if we can continue this run game, it's going to hopefully opens up some things in the pass game.
Off mic here before we start recording, you talked about they have a stable of running backs. They got a pretty good athlete down there behind the center on the offensive side of the ball. So what challenges do they present on both sides of the ball?
Yeah, in the trenches, man, they get after it. The offensive line, they look about all 6'1", 6'2", like 220, but just solid. Now, their left tackle's a bigger kid, but they all look like they're cut out the same cookie cutter. I mean, they're jacked up. They play with a flat back, and they finish plays. The running backs, all their skill guys, they're good in space. They're good in between the tackles. So their skill set is very good. They got an athletic quarterback. They've got some guys that are, committed to go to college. I mean, they have good talent. They're a very good team. And then defensively, their linebackers will be one of the better groups that we see all year. They're very talented. I mean, they're it's Madison. Not much has changed. They're very consistent in what they do. But again, physicality is the one thing that stands out when you play those guys.
What is the biggest keys for your team to be successful Friday night?
Eliminate big plays. First off, defensively, that's been our Achilles, is just big plays, and spent the last 2 games in the passing game. which again just boils down to guys doing their job and being where they're supposed to be. Turnovers, we had 3 Friday, but then we turned the ball over a couple times ourselves. So we've got to start winning the turnover margin, the turnover game. Just those 2 areas there are going to make us a much better ball club. And again, special teams, which I'm having flashbacks now of Madison just taking advantage in years past of some special teams mishaps. So we had one to punt, we had one extra point field goal. So that always shows up in this game somehow, some way. Special teams is always going to be a big determining factor. So I would say those are the big areas in determining us whether we're going to win or lose the game.
Well, that was actually going to be my next line of questioning, Coach, is talking about special teams and how it can really swing the momentum of a game. So with this week and the emphasis that you're putting on it, is anything going to change for your practice, or what goes into this week for special teams?
Yeah, with some of these guys with injuries, we're going to have to shuffle around special teams depth chart and move some guys to some different places. Punt team, we got to look at what we're doing schematically and see if that fits us still, or if we need to change that a little bit, because again, the protection has been a little bit sloppy for my liking. So we're always going to look at and spend a lot of time on special teams throughout the week. That's one that if you can at least win the special teams department, like more times than not, you're going to be there in the game. But if you have 2 or 3 mistakes in that, you don't got a chance. So making sure that we're dang near perfect in that area, and then playing much better on O&D.
You mentioned some of the injuries that you guys have already had so early on into the season. Who are some players you'll lean on this week to hopefully take that next step with some of these injuries that we're going through?
I think Jamarcus Cherry, Ty Moses. I'd like to see those guys, more heavily involved offensively, because I know the playmakers that they are. We had some drops last week, which I don't think will consistently be the case. I've seen those guys make some routine catches in practice. Also seen them make some very difficult catches. So I think if we can get those 2 guys, we've seen what Coy can do. Hunter Watson's back in the fold now. So if we can get Cherry, we can get Ty really involved and get those guys making some plays. Now you've got 4, 5, 6 guys that can make plays and that are options for Sykes to get the ball to. And then defensively, man, the secondary, we got to do a better job, man. You look at Bubba Lovett, this been starting for us. KB, Kyle Brown's going to be out. He's he tweaked his hamstring again against Columbia. Losing Fred Cooks was a big loss, because he's a 2-way guy, a receiver in DB. So you've got these young guys of Diamond Jones, Jaden Polite, Jack Harrington's back from injury from last year. So we have got to have some guys step up, because ideally, man, we can, as much as Ty and Coy and Cherry running offensively, I'd like to get them a break and get them off the field a little bit so they're not running as many plays. But that's going to cause for those guys to step up and play like starters and be starters. So that'll be big for us this week, and then as we get into district play coming up next week.
Coach, we know what Boot Hill brings. We know what just Madison County, the Cowboys themselves bring. But you combine going to Boot Hill with this championship level team. How do you keep your team? How do you have them almost embrace the moment instead of being rattled by it?
Yeah, you can't be rattled. I mean, we're going to go. We're going to go into tougher environments this year. Granted, Boot Hill is one of the toughest places to play, but we've got to be able to go on the road and execute. I mean, we go to Baker County for a district game. We go to Childs this year. Taylor County will be a tough one. They're homecoming. So we've got to be able to go and play on the road just as we do at the house. Your focus, I think there is a little bit different focus level just because you're not in the comfort of your own backyard. But going into Boot Hill, man, you can't get rattled by the environment. You got to focus in on your job, on your assignments, playing as hard as you can, and just settle into the ball game. I think we started the game better. Look at Columbia in the first quarter, and then with this past week, so we're starting better. But man, that kind of that middle 8 minutes of the game as we end the second quarter and we start that second half, we've had some struggles there. So we've got to be better in that 8-minute period. And I think if we can clean that up, now you compound that on top of starting well. Now we're starting to get some good momentum.
Going back to your playing days, Coach, you're talking about hostile environments, and you got to embrace it. So, in your high school days, where was your favorite place to play on the road, and was that the toughest place also? But then also, same question for you during your college.
Ooh, high school. I mean, Boot Hill was always tough.
Yep.
I mean, that's always been a tough place to play. Favorite place? Probably Pensacola Pace.
Yeah.
Because they were undefeated both times we went out there.
So it was a big game for sure.
Yes, and we beat them both times in the playoffs. They were undefeated.
That helps
and,
too.
we sent them to the house. So they hated when we came to town, but that was always fun to go to. The old Hamilton Stadium used to be a great atmosphere, like phenomenal atmosphere, because the school downtown, the track was around the field, and everybody just standing on the track around it, and we had some great games over there. So that was always a cool environment. But Boot Hill again has always been a tough place. College, the Swamp, definitely a tough place. I see somebody throwing the U up back there. Now, that was my favorite place to play. The old Orange Bowl, the original Orange Bowl.
I've heard really good stuff about that.
Like, that was my favorite place to play. Death Valley and the Swamp.
The Clemson Death Valley, correct?
Yes, yeah. Those are two of the loudest, like hostile environments. But the Orange Bowl, the original Orange Bowl, that was probably my favorite.
I thought about you, Coach. There's a little self-involved. He told a story last year on the Coach's Show that I just love. I saw your boy Frank Beamer was on the sideline in a golf cart, and Lenore Sellis was so nice to him and gave him the game ball and everything. I was like, Coach Hall back in his day, I don't think he would have given Coach Beamer
I was
the
talking
game
trash
ball.
to Coach Beamer.
One of the nicest gentlemen.
He was not.
Now Shane probably had to be somewhere over there, right?
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, I don't know exactly what his role was, but I mean, he had to be over there somewhere.
Yeah, that was just competition, though. It was a competition. The cool thing, though, I got his autograph. A buddy of mine worked for VTech, and I sent him one of those mini helmets, the VTech, and I got Coach Beamer to autograph it. So I've always respected Coach Beamer, but just in that moment when we played him.
I love how you had to say
talk
that.
some trash.
I had a buddy that worked for VTech, and he got the autograph for me because if it would have came from you, I don't know how that would have been well received.
No, he wasn't going to give that to me, but we did beat him. That was a fun game. But the old the old Orange Bowl, just a crazy atmosphere, and those teams were just ridiculously talented that we played back then.
Yeah, for sure.
They looked good last night too.
Yeah, I was going to say Hard Rock Stadium was rocking.
The Florida teams are back right now.
That is.
At least after week one.
It's all fun to be when we're all 1-0.
It is.
Now I hope USF is 1-1 after the end of this week with them coming to the Swamp. But we'll worry about that when we got to worry about it.
That'd be a good one.
Coach, just getting back to the Madison game real quick. Regardless of the outcome, how do you want your team to? What do you want them to gain from this matchup against such a high level opponent?
Confidence. Anytime you lose, your confidence is gonna take a beating, and it's gonna get challenged. And if you go out there doubting yourself, doubting your teammates, like doubting this team, it's hard to go out and win. So I want to see our guys come out. Obviously, we wouldn't go over there and win the game, but I've got to see these guys' confidence level start to increase. Self-belief, belief in the offensive line, belief in the defensive line, just believe in the team altogether. Because, again, as I told them after Friday, it's not getting any easier.
Mm-mm.
Like, it's Boot Hill, then it's Gobby, then it's Hamilton, then it's a stretch of Wakulla, Baker, Taylor, Atlantic Coast. I mean, so none of this gets easier. So you got to pick yourself up, and what's behind is behind. Now learn from it, correct it, and let's get it right. But there's no time to lack self-belief and confidence. Or if you're not all in, then go to the house. Like, just plain and simple. Like, it's hard enough to play the game with everybody in. But if you're half in, half out, then man, just go home. Go be a fan.
And there's no need to look in the rearview mirror, Coach. But looking ahead, everything that you have goal-wise is still ahead of you. You take control of districts, you are guaranteed you're hosting a home playoff game. At the end of the day, that's what you want going into the season. And regardless of the outcome these past couple weeks, that's still in front of you.
Everything's still in front of us. There's been one undefeated team in 100 years in Swanee.
Which is crazy to say.
101.
Yeah.
One team. So we're not undefeated. All right. We're 0-2. I've been here before. I've been worse before. But the determining factor, you have to make a choice that, you know what, we're gonna make this right. We're gonna fix it. We're gonna keep working. We're gonna show up. We're gonna show up just like we were 2-0. Because again, it's easy, and when things are going your way and you're winning, like anybody can show up with a good attitude. But like you develop some things inside when you push through something like this. Like that's what you have to do. And again, we kind of live in a society, we want to brush all that hard stuff out of the way. Sure. And let me clear this path. Let's just get this easy path. Well, this game is hard. Like it will humble you. It will shake you. So man, you got to stand fast. You got to hold on. And if you hold on and stick with it, you're going to come out the other side at some point. But that's where this team and this group is getting challenged right now.
You're about to find out who's really in your corner.
Absolutely.
They're going to be there for you, or they're not. And then, hey, if that's what it takes, that's okay, right?
That's it.
That's it. Well, hey, Coach, we got a little bit more coming up here. We got the player spotlight. We got the Bulldog Bark coming up for now. Let's get into our commercial break.
A lot of the Bulldog greats that you read about, talk about, and still see walking around Suwannee County played right here on the historical grounds of Douglas High School. Like many others in the era that I came up with, this was the Suwannee Middle School at the time. We didn't know about the history of Douglas High. But after learning the history, my parents went to school right here at Douglas High. And there are a lot of other former Bulldog greats whose parents came up right here at Douglas High School. Someone told me an affectionate joke the other day. If you put two great tigers together, in a lot of cases in Suwannee County, they produced a great bulldog. So yes, Bulldogs do come from tigers. Phil Washington, Donnie Allen, C.J. Jones, Tracy the Dog Brown, Phil E.T. Brown, Eric Smith, Terrence Humphrey, and Rodney McClendon. Great Bulldog players who are legacies of the Douglas Tigers. I was called in to help out with the most recent Douglas class reunion. And I had the pleasure of talking to Willie McClendon, the father of Bulldog great Rodney McClendon. I also got a chance to talk to Alfred Smith, the father of the Bulldog great Eric Smith. And Alfred Smith could make two claims. He was a great quarterback at Douglas High School, and he was a great point guard at Douglas High School, and also a great point guard at Suwannee High School as well. Alfred Smith was one of the many players who became Suwannee Bulldogs when the schools, Douglas High School and Suwannee High School, merged during integration. But then I ran into another legend, and today on the Dog Blast, we feature Coach MacArthur Linton, Douglas great, Bulldog great, also taught over 35,000 kids in Suwannee County. This is a Dog Blast with Coach MacArthur Linton.
Yes, I coached at Suwannee High School when the transition was made. Integration. Okay, I moved to the Suwannee High School in 1970. My position was driver's education and football junior varsity. I coached at Oberon High School in 1964. My position at Oberon High School was a basketball coach and physical education. Then I was transferred to Douglas High School, where I coached football and basketball. I coached at Suwannee during the 70s, during the integration time. My position was the driver education instructor in physical education. Played here In 1960 and 68, I played upon the Carter and Furman Martin. I was a defensive back. I thought I made All-American.
Right.
But I didn't make All-American until I got to Ed Waters College.
Okay.
When I got to Ed Waters College, I was a defensive back. And in 1964, we were national champions. We had kids that could play in the NFL. We had a bunch of kids that could play for anybody.
Right.
And the kids here were very brilliant. Academically, they were brilliant.
Right.
Activity-wise, they were brilliant.
Well, who was up there?
During the time when I played under two coaches. The players was, one of them was Marvin Hunter.
Yes, sir.
I thought he made All-American. And the quarterback was Joe Williams. He's about 90 years old now.
Right.
Joe Sonny Williams was the other quarterback during my time in 1956. And we went out to the Phoenix Springs and under Joe Carter. We got defeated 108-0.
Wow.
So, but we lived it down.
Yes, sir.
We lived it down, and we came back and we defeated Lake City. That was our biggest hurdle, that we had to beat Lake City.
Right.
And we defeated Lake City 7-0.
Wow.
7-0.
Was that for a championship, or what was it for?
That was just a pride game
Okay.
for us to beat Lake City.
Okay. When you look back on all your coaching experience, your playing, what will your legacy be, Mr. Linton?
My legacy will be how well I respond to my students. I coached about 30,000 kids in my lifetime.
Wow.
And I taught about 30,000 kids. And I never failed a kid. That's my legacy.
Okay.
I had full of my responsibility with these kids.
Yes, sir.
And I loved my kids as I went through the class with them.
All right. Well, well said. Well said.
It's Player Spotlight here on rivercountrysports.com, and I've got Kamari Thompson here. Big number 9, how are you?
Doing good. How about yourself?
I'm doing great, man. I'm doing great. And Lou Jack is also here. We've been bragging on you for a long time. Are you healthy this year? You ready to go?
Big healthy, ready to go.
You know, last year we got banged up at running back, and doggone, we were looking for somebody on the sideline saying, who want to run the ball? But this year coming in, you feel like we've got 2 good backs?
Yeah, we got 2 good backs. Got Troy Nelson coming up under me. Coming from a freshman to a sophomore, he's began to look up more to me and like take more of like what I do, and he's putting it into his game and building his bag up.
Tell me about running the football. I mean, you know, that's not an easy thing to do when you got guys trying to take your head off. But and you got, you know, this little crease you got to run through at full speed. I mean, that's the thing that, I mean, you just either have it or you don't.
Yeah, you got to have it.
Yeah.
You got to go with pressure and power.
Yeah. Is there anything that intimidates you on the defense side of the ball, or any certain play like running to the middle? Would you rather run to the outside? Is there anything you prefer?
Really not a play I would prefer, but like I mostly go inside 'cause I like to hit people.
Okay. Are you going to catch the ball this year?
Yeah, we're going to throw some screens.
All right. That sounds good. All right, Kamari, tell me about your off season. How's that been going?
It's been going good, you know, just coming back from my junior year playing D-line, and now I'm still playing D-line, but now I play everything on the D-line.
Okay. So, but you're also going to play that H-back once in a while, I guess?
Yes, sir. Big blocking back, hit a linebacker once or twice.
Blocking back, and maybe they'll give you a carry every once in a while.
Maybe.
That'd be all right.
Nah.
Yeah.
You don't think so?
Yeah.
Nah.
He got to open your holes. That's what he's got to do.
He just got a block for me.
There you go. Defensive on that defensive line, what does it look like? You think we're going to be decent this year?
Yes, sir. We're going to be decent. We're going to be better than decent.
Okay. A couple of things I want you guys. I don't want to put any pressure on you, but a couple of things I want to accomplish this year. I'd like to beat Madison. About tired of them, and Godby. Godby ticked me off twice last year. So I'd like to get a little revenge. No pressure or anything. What are you guys thinking?
I mean, we could do it.
Yeah.
Put our minds to it. We could do it.
Yes, sir. We can do it.
Do you look at games like the rivalry games differently, or is it just another opponent?
I mean, it's just another opponent, but I do look at it differently because, man, like these guys beat us. Godby beat us twice last year.
And shouldn't have.
We should have won that game from the jump.
Well, you remember that playoff game, and we had it. I mean, what happened there? That one play, I mean, that kid went the distance, and I was about to cry.
It was a screen play. We weren't prepared for it. Stuff happens. He scored a touchdown. It was sad.
That was a long ride home that night. I still remember that.
Yes.
So, doggone. We're not going to let that happen this year, are we?
Nah.
I feel like this is going to be a big year. I mean, what does the camaraderie feel like as far as you guys working together and everything?
I say the camaraderie was how our chemistry really built up together from 8th grade all the way up to now. And, like, having a chemistry is like having a brotherhood together with everyone, even the newcomers.
Yeah. And what I mean, the thing is, I mean, you only get one shot at high school.
One shot.
So, and you're going to look back at this when you get to be an old guy like me, and you're going, these memories is what you're going to remember. The single game, guys you played with, you know, that you went to war with. I mean, that's what you're going to remember. And can't nobody take that away from you.
At all.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't mean anything now because you're still playing, but someday you're going to look back at this.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Anything you guys want to ask me?
What type of steak you like?
I would prefer ribeye if I had to
Ribeye?
pick one, yeah.
I like sirloin.
Cooked medium. Sirloin's good. I wouldn't turn around. If it's a steak, I'm not going to turn it down.
Me either.
So, New York strip.
Yeah, I like that too.
That's pretty good, too. All right. That was a good question. I wasn't ready for that.
I didn't know what to ask you.
But I know the guy said you were going to interview me, so I just thought,
Yeah.
Okay. What are you guys looking at in the classroom? Are you guys on track to graduate? Everything looking good there?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right. You going to have light schedules this year? Or
Yeah. Light, very light.
Good. Have you thought about the futures as far as playing college ball or just going on to whatever it is you want to do past high school?
I had some thoughts of what colleges I want to go to and, like, some thoughts of what I wanted to do when I get out of high school. Like, be a firefighter or be a professional mortician or just go to college and play football for FAMU or FSU or UF or Miami. One of those.
I like the U.
Yeah.
So that'd be all right. But a mortician.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have any background in that or anything?
Yeah, I work for Marcus A. Allen Funeral, so I get a lot of I get a lot of insight of what I can do, and I really like it. So I just wanted to, take it further in my life and be something.
Hey, that's a great profession. I mean, it's needed, obviously.
Yeah.
So, have you looked at your future? What you want to do?
Yes, sir. If I get an opportunity to play college ball, I would do it. But if not, I would like to be a civil engineer and go to like FSU, UF, UCF, or the U.
Okay. Well, I like that. If you get a scholarship, man, take it. Take this football career as far as you could go. If you could pick a dream school, like, it didn't matter that everybody was offering you, where would you go?
UF.
UF.
Both of you are Gator fans at heart?
I ain't a Gator fan. I just go to UF because they got a good D1 school.
What are you a fan of? Who do you root for on Saturdays?
I go for the U.
Okay.
I'll take the U over anybody right now.
Me too. No?
He a Gator fan, so
about it?
he
You
ain't
a
got no
true
say so.
Gator.
I'm a true Gator.
He ain't got no say so.
Okay. Well, I just thought I'd ask. Is there anybody you want to say hello to before I let you go?
Hey, Mom. Hey, Dad.
Hello, Mom. Hello, Collar Hall.
K Hall 41.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you very much. I want to wish you good luck this year, and thanks for being on Player Spotlight.
Yes, sir.
All right, back with more action after this on rivercountrysports.com.
Welcome back here to the Coach's Show. I'm your host, TJ Vickers. Kyler Hall joined alongside me. Coach Hall, we had a glorious start to football season for all of us here in the room. Wayne Luttrell, a University of Miami Hurricane fan, they came out on top. The Florida Gators faced the Florida School of Deaf and Blind, and they came out on top. And you guys pulled maybe the upset of the weekend going up against the Roll Tide, and you sent them back home losers. How about that?
We did. It was a great atmosphere. Alabama they didn't look like the typical Alabama.
Well, like your boy Cassiano says, Nick Saban ain't walking through that door. I know that's not exactly what he said, but that for all intents and purposes, that's what he's saying. You know, he said, "Hey, I don't see them stopping me because Nick Saban's not coming through."
Well, he was right.
My goodness,
he is tough. He's going to be tough to deal with until teams get more film and kind of try to break down Malzahn and his offense. That's going to be tough for people to defend because he's just his run threat alone. The running game and up front look much better. I think we only completed, 9 passes, but we had like 160 yards through the air. So very efficient in the passing game. And then defensively, man, them guys got after it. Bama had the one big run early, and then after that, I think we had held them to like 30-something yards rushing. So there was a lot of improvement, especially coming off of a 2-10 year. I mean, that's you got to hear that all off season. 2-10, y'all ain't no good. So man, they got it right. They flipped it. They got some good pieces in the portal. But now the test of all right, how do you handle that win? I mean, everybody in Tallahassee was on the field. They stormed the field. So now how do you come back against a very lesser team this week, and then continue to get better? And you got Miami in a few weeks, so. But much more fun to watch than last year.
For you, at least.
Yeah.
I quite enjoyed last year.
I bet you did.
But with every open door, a door closes. So we had the opening to college football season, but that meant Lee Corso's final college game day, and he actually went undefeated on his picks, and he
very fitting.
And I saw that too. So not only did he go undefeated on his picks, but any team that he played for or coached for came out on top.
Yeah, very fitting.
How awesome is that?
Yeah. I mean, college football is the greatest sport in the world to me, and Corso's been how many years was it? The first one was the 90. Was it the 93 Notre Dame FSU?
I think so. Yeah.
And I remember that one very vividly. We went up to that was at South Bend. Charlie Ward. That was the year we won it all. But man, he's been a staple of college football on Saturday mornings, and it'll be interesting to see if they continue to do the headgear.
I hope not.
If they do anything, I agree. It should do something else, but I think that needs to go away with Corso.
That needs to retire with him.
But he was great. Yeah.
No, I thought that was really cool. So with you being a Florida State Seminole, do you got any Corso stories where maybe he was around, or maybe there was a college game day where you got the chance to be a participant in?
You know what? I never met him in person. That we had game day many times in my years there. That game day came to us. Typically, it was FSU Miami, FSU Florida. Maybe we had a big one against Virginia one year, but the Miami Florida games were typically the ones where we would host game day. But would always see him around. Met Herb Street one time. I think it was my sophomore year. But it's always cool to wake up, watch game day, see the prediction. But I mean, college football is so different now than it was back then, even 10 years ago with the transfer portal. And I think that's one of the reasons why Bama doesn't necessarily look like Bama, because now the talent is dispersed everywhere. But you can really get beat by anybody any Saturday because the talent is so spread out.
Yeah, and going back to College Game Day, I think they said it was 3.5 million viewers for the duration of College Game Day. So that's a 3-hour show, but then it peaked at 5.1 million that first 15 minutes. You saw a lot of people tune in just to see how is this going to kick off.
Yeah, absolutely. So best time of year. We had a little football weather today. Actually,
it's nice, right?
Felt great this morning. So that was cool, and so hopefully we continue to get some of that football weather, and we can get this thing on track.
Well, best of luck to you, Coach. We got a game this Friday night, Boot Hill, Madison County. Come on over if you can. If not, you know where to find us. Watch us on rivercountrysports.com. Kickoff will be at 7:30 with a 30-minute pregame show before that. Catch the Coaches Show Monday at 7 o'clock with myself and Coach Hall. Tuesday nights, it's Branford High School's Coaches Show with Jackson Jones, so make sure you tune into that as well. Coach Hall, thank you for all your time. Thank you for what you always do for us. Thank you to our sponsors. Thank you to Hardee's for everything that they provide for us. Thank you to Sawyer and Miss Tammy Neal off camera for doing everything that they do. And Wayne Luttrell always hanging out here with us too. The University of Miami
is back.
Product that's here, and he's back. So
least
thank you
for 1
guys.
week.
Yep, thank you guys for listening, and go Dogs.